I had the pleasure of seeing her live in person at BCW Summer on Smash, and I was blown away. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Spiteful Brute, Harleen Lopez.
How's it going, dude? I'm really excited to
Yo,
be here.
I'm excited to have you on, and I'm excited that we're doing this via Zoom, so I am not in danger of getting my ass beat. So thank you for that.
You did nothing to piss me off, so of course I wouldn't,
Well,
regardless.
you never know. I mean, like, I could ask a question the wrong way. You just never know in the world of professional wrestling. So,
Safe than
um,
sorry, I guess.
yeah, exactly. Well, I learned a little bit something about you, that like I want to dive into right away here. I
Okay.
understand that you're an animal rights activist. Is that right?
Yes, completely. So
That
ever since like I turned vegan, like I'm gonna say like it's a decade now, a decade ago,
wow.
2013. So ever since then, I'm just like a big advocate for it. Like
So
regardless, yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
like what happened? So a decade ago, going strong. That is amazing. So vegan or vegetarian?
vegan, full on
Vegan,
vegan.
full on
Yes.
vegan. All right. So talk to me about that. Like what was the clicking moment that made it like, dude, I can't do meat anymore.
So like growing up, I definitely did not have like the healthiest like diet or like this lifestyle in general because being Hispanic, of course, you're always like smothered with the meat and the cheese. I was like quesadillas and all those type of like dishes, which are growing up fantastic, and you feel like oh this is like heaven on earth. And then over time, your health catches up with you. So like when I noticed that a lot of my family members were just like getting like really bad like health conditions, I was just like I need to make a change. Especially when I wanted to become a professional wrestler down the line because I knew ever since I was really young I needed to find a way to get in shape the best way I could, and one of those ways was probably just the way I eat. So like, at first, I didn't really know what veganism was. I didn't really, so I had to like really research it. At first, didn't do it the proper way. I was
I feel like
very
no one
much
really
lacking a lot.
does.
Yeah, I was lacking a lot of nutritional values and a lot of vitamin stuff, but or I guess you could say just portions in general. Like I definitely feel like I was not like eating enough in the beginning.
Did you have to see like a dietitian to like help you along the way? Was that part of the process?
I was going to, but I never went down that route because it was more so like financial reasons as well. Like I didn't go
Mhm.
down the one, so it was all this research on my own. So I ordered a shit ton of books. Like I was like looking at every YouTube channel possible. I was just like looking into it as in depth as I could. Um, I wouldn't say I'm like the perfect vegan, of course. There are days where I lack a lot of protein, of course, because I didn't like write down the proper things that I'm eating.
Mhm.
Which I try to do. I try to like write down all my macros now and make sure but I try my best just to stay away from any type of like animal byproducts to this very day.
That's amazing. So does that include like, stuff with clothes, I take it, and anything like, as far as deodorants or whatever that may have animal product in it? Like, are you that careful?
I try my best, my very best. There obviously I still have like a lot of clothing that is fast fashion, that I just grew up with that I don't like trying to get rid of because they're still like intact. So why would I get rid of it? But if I go out to shop like for new clothes and stuff or like for new products, I always try to make an effort to be like sustainable clothing, organic, or just anything that's not, especially like even like items like shampoos and stuff that are not even in plastic bottles. Like I try to make my best effort to do that. Of course, there's
So,
times where when you're a pro college student, you can't, sadly. Uh,
well,
right. But I try my very best efforts to like just do that, but it's possible. So,
before we transition to animal activism, I need to know an answer for this one,
okay.
because I used to live with a vegan, and
Oh,
I
all right.
saw him crack open a bag of Oreos, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Are you vegan? What's in the cream?" He said, "No, the Oreos are vegan." I'm like, "How can
Yeah.
that be? There's cream inside it. Can you
Right.
settle this for me, please?"
Yeah. So there's with Oreos, there's not like any type of milk or any type of eggs in it. When they create it,
What?
it's very much soy, cocoa. Yeah. For I love Oreos
So
too. I
I'm
try my best
wrong.
to stay away from it though, but
So I'm wrong.
yes, Oreos are very much very vegan.
Mind blown. Interview over. I'm joking. No, that's
Dude, I
wild. So,
love Oreos.
so
That's like probably like the sweet spot. If someone tries to like, I try my best to eat healthy, but like if there's one thing that someone can like tease me with, it's Oreos. It's just like it's my weakness. Like,
I guess I needed you a few years ago because we had like no joke, a hour long debate about this. It was insane. But now
wow.
debate settled. I was wrong. I can say that on the air here. Confirmed. So So kudos to that. So all right, switching gears to the animal activism. So like, all right, so you going down that path, being a vegan, was more so to, body for your well-being. And then
Yes.
especially like, what you do, you're very physical, what you do in the ring, it requires to be, a certain shape. But then like, yeah, so you want one step further here. Talk to me about that.
So like just looking at more so documentaries that are on it, because like there's like a lot of documentaries like Game Changers or like Cowspiracy that talks about like just artificial like glass games, like just everything where it comes from, right? The more I learned about it, the more I realized like we as Americans are like failing, which is very like a statement, like a bold statement to make and very controversial. But
Is it
I am
America or is it
very
the
much,
world?
yeah. Huh?
Is
I
it
would
America
say
or is it the world?
America is the number one, like I would say like issue, but I would say definitely it's a global issue as well. It's just when I found out that like where a lot of our clothing is coming from and like how it's like created and like the stuff like some about it just like really pissed me off. So I was like, I'm gonna try to make a conscious effort to like go against this, and like even if it's just me, that one person, maybe it's like not gonna be the one cause to like solve it all. I feel like I at least I'm not in the sense of like the wrong, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So like I don't know, it's just like it's like it's not more me where it's like when I find out about stuff like that, my morals taken and it's like I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that conversation. Yeah.
What do you think that society, or even maybe if it's a government thing, can do, like, one step closer to do right in this case scenario? Like, I heard of like there's one city in California recently that just made laws giving about, like, animal rights in
Right.
general, that like giving you animal rights per se.
Definitely.
Is that a direction to go? What are your thoughts?
Uh, it's I feel like I wrote so many papers about this, but
Mhm.
like it definitely I feel like more so like if you put a law in place, it would help for a small portion, I would believe, because there will still be individuals that will still live the way that they were conditioned to live. So even if we do all these different laws and like make all these different like efforts like within the Constitution, it's not gonna make a change to those who are already set in their ways. So know if I really have the answer for this. I just live the life that I want to live, and like, and I don't ever try to like pressure other people to live the way that I do. So
Mhm.
I just try my best.
No, respect. Is there any way we can, like, a link to learn more, or anything, that website that you recommend, or a place to donate money towards
Yeah, of course.
this?
I was gonna send you all the links like right after this because like
Oh,
me and my
uh,
brain coming off of freaking college classes, I don't even know like what's left and right. But like, if you could like this, like the links that I give you, it'll probably be in like the description below for you guys just to like look more into it because like I really try to make effort to like at least educate the masses. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, and that's what we try to do. We're more than just a wrestling show, like,
Right.
there's more to life than just wrestling. But, with that being said, we are a wrestling podcast, so we should probably talk a little bit of wrestling here. So let's switch
Yeah.
gears here. The
Let's
last
not lose the audience. No, I'm
the
joking.
last time I saw you was at Capital Championship Wrestling. Badass
Yes.
promotion, working a little closely here with BCW, I see, which is great. But I also saw you aligned yourself here with some badass women in Vita Von Star and Brittany Blake, The Awakening. Talk to us a
Yes.
little bit about that. How did that come to be? You're not an original member, right? You joined forces with them.
No. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nope.
So I think it was like 2 shows ago. So it was during CCW's tag team championship tournament that was going on. Um, that was probably where like my breaking point was because before that I had made my debut for CCW in a match against Avery Jacks, and I feel like that I like if anything I won the match. I made her tap out, and I feel like I made a lasting impression there. Come the next show, I wasn't on the show at all, and there was no rhyme or reason to that, and that really like put like a nail in my heart almost. 'Cause it was like I kind of just impressed and made a statement of winning this match. So you guys should, even if it's just like a lower level singles match, I want to find a way to like show the world like what I'm capable of. But yet they didn't give me the opportunity. So that was just like my breaking point. Uh so I was looking at this, and I was like, who are some really dominant tag teams right now that I feel like that could be helping asset. And The Awakening was probably like the number one that came to mind, because Brittany Blake and Vita Von Star are definitely, I feel like, underutilized talents that should definitely be given more of a spotlight. And personally, I was a fan of both of them before I even got into it.
Great
So
wrestlers.
yeah, so I was like a huge fan of Brittany of Vita Von Star back, Ring of Honor, Women of Honor. I'm like tripping all over my words. Women of Honor back in the day. I was just like a huge fan. Like, I dig her look, I dig her vibe. Like, I see like determination in her eyes when she's out there, and I was just like, this is the perfect team to align myself with. So it was kind of just history from there. Yeah.
How has the dynamic been? Like, you're the new girl in an already established tag team here. Is it like, do you have some say as far as, like, the direction the Awakening goes? Are you more like the muscle? Do they dictate what happens? Like, who's running the ship there?
Right. Definitely who's running the ship is still Vita. But they are very much open to anything that I have in mind of how to like demolish the rest of the girls, of course. Uh I don't ever want to step over their toes though, because they came here before me, but they know that I have an asset that they don't necessarily have. And that is my, I guess you could say, intensity and muscle power. So like
I could
so
say that for sure. Yeah.
so like, if they need someone to handle business, I come in and I swoop and I save the day. So
That's
but
amazing.
yeah, I don't ever want to step over toes though, because Vita was very, very kind to us too. So that's the best way I can put it.
As someone that used to be part of a faction, especially I was the new kid on the block here. It's great. I mean, like, yeah, I understand that role. You don't want to overstep your boundaries here. You want to learn as much as possible. You have each other's back. It's a brotherhood, well, in your case, a sisterhood. But I took a lot from each and every single person that was part of that group. What have you taken so far from Brittany Blake and Vita Von Star?
I would say how to capitalize on your moments is probably like the best thing I could say. Whether it's in the ring or even it's like when the camera's on you, just capitalize those moments and make them matter. So that's like the one thing they've taught me so far. And like back in my head, I probably knew of that, but like I never necessarily knew of it when you're put in that like in the moment, like when you're out there. So that's probably the best thing that they've given me so far.
Could you give an example of, like, how you did that? Like, what case afterwards, like, you switched that gear?
I would
Not to
definitely
put you on the
say,
spot.
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. The last CCW show, it was us in a trios match against three individuals who I like to particularly call like the preppy women on the roster. So it was Gabby Ortiz, Clara Carreras, and Notorious Mimi.
All
And
very peppy.
we're in there, and I would feel like we were dominating. And like it was like just beating up on one of them. I look over at the camera and I'm like just soaking in that moment. Be like, this is what I'm doing, and you need to like pay attention to what I'm doing.
It goes down to, like, a lot of what, like, the vets say is, like, slow down,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
slow down. Which I'm a big fan of, because, like, that brings in character, draws the audience in to either what to cheer you or to boo you. So
Right.
those are definitely make the moments count. Speaking of making moments count, like, you made a hell of an impression at BCW. Your debut, you faced Nevaeh Chantelle. You did lose. I hate to bring up bad times. You did lose in a surprising
Yeah.
fashion. I think a lot of people would agree that you were the favorite to win that match. But now here at Nightmare at the Mecca, October 22nd at Richfield Park, New Jersey, you get a rematch. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that, like how that came to be, and what you may come in differently in this match.
Right. So the last time that I faced Nevaeh, it was definitely, I would say, even though it was like a month ago, I feel like I am a completely different person since then. And I'm coming in with a different game plan. I'm coming in with a different type of aggression and intensity that I don't think Nevaeh is like ready for. And given the fact that it's October and it's horror season, you don't know what type of spooky things I have up my sleeve.
Girl, your first introduction to BCW, you got a promo with scissors in your hand. Like, how much more vicious can you get?
Right. I love sharp objects.
My God, you say it with such a sick smile. Like, I'm scared for Nevaeh. Were
Oh
you
my
like,
god.
so when she you had that match essentially won. Many people would say. Talk to us a little bit, like what happened there. I mean, were you in shock afterwards? Like, what emotions were you going through?
I'm so angry than shocked because the fact that like so I had put on like she was about to give me a choke slam, and I put on the one submission that I feel like that is because like I have like a very wide variety of like submissions in my arsenal. This the one submission that I feel like not many people can get out of. It's very brutal, it's very vicious, the crossface. And I had that locked in, and I feel like I had won it. Somehow it cost me though, because she is very much more bigger than me. She's much more like more frame wise, much more bigger in that aspect. And I just didn't think that would be a possibility in that moment. So she definitely outsmarted me in that instance. But I know coming into the next match, like it's not going to be the same outcome.
Damn. Nevaeh Chantelle, better watch out. It sounds like we see a even more ruthless side of the spiteful brute here. Oh, Harleen, time goes by fast here. That is all the time that we have right now. But real fast, you're looking at camera. If you're looking at camera, shoot your shot. Let us know what you have coming up.
So I definitely see me at BCW October the 22nd, where I face Nevaeh Chantelle again, and it'll be definitely a very different outcome when that occurs. But this weekend, I'm going to be actually making my debut down in Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling. That's going to be in Massachusetts. And then the week following that, well, actually the day after that, Labor of Love actually is going to be having a taped show at the Worldwide Dojo, and it's going to be a free event. So links for those tickets are definitely in my bio. And everything else, like you could definitely see on my social medias. So that's Harleen X Lopez at Twitter X. What do they call this nowadays?
I just don't even refer to it as X. It's Twitter.
One of the two. Yeah. So Harleen X Lopez there. Jazz Soto is on Instagram, and then Harleen Lopez on everywhere else. You could see all the upcoming shows that I have, upcoming appearances. And I also want to shout out my new Patreon that I just launched. So even though like I feel like I'm still new to the business, I feel like this is the best way for I can get my content out there in a like exclusive, like private way. So
that's amazing. Hey, you may be new, but you're acting like a vet, man. You're taking it all in, and you're establishing your brand, and you're doing a fantastic job. You definitely caught the radar of a lot of people. So keep doing your thing. Rooting for you. Sorry, Nevaeh. But again, thank you so much for joining the show. Hopefully we'll have you on again. This is nice. I feel like we have so much more we could talk about. And before we head over back to the Michael J. Puddy, make sure you click on the links in the bottom to find out more how you can support the cause for animal rights.